told me to pay to have my question read, and then I did, and then you said it has to be $5. What the fuck do I have to do? Donate 10 now? I'm crying. Did I miss your last one? Oh, dog, I'm so sorry. My bad, dog. I just looked at the chat, but I was looking into some others. But shout out to the Pattern File. You don't support Israel, right? I'm a new viewer. No. I do not support Israel. I don't support their genocide. Trust me. I was against Israel since October 7th, when they started pretty much carpet bombing Gaza. I was against them after that. And then I had to go down the whole rabbit hole of figuring out how they always had a hand in, our politics throughout history. Well, American history. So trust me, bro, I'm not a supporter of Israel. I'm an America first guy, and I only think that our government should be working for the American people, not the Israeli government. So this is why I think guys like Randy Fine and Ted Cruz should be removed from government, because they've explicitly shown how much support they have for Israel over their own American people. So no, I'm not a supporter of Israel. I have nothing against the Israeli people, but I do have all the hatred in the world for the Israeli government, aka the Likud party. But as far as everybody outside of that, I love all the other Israelis. But that group right there, I can't do it. I just can't do it. We need regime change in Israel. I'm just going to say it. We need regime change in Israel. The entirety of the Likud party needs to be removed from the government or in the Knesset in Israel. And then we may have some peace in the Middle East. Possibly. But once again, the Pattern Files. I apologize, bro. I truly do. My bad. I didn't mean to miss it like that bad.
Ban musicians for offensive outbursts. Well, Stephen Crowder, host of Louder with Crowder, has all the answers, I'm sure, to all of these burning questions. They're probably different to some of mine, but he joins me now. Stephen, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my bad, bro. It's only two. So, whatever you could fit into your $2 super chat, of course, I'll answer and all that good stuff. You got to pay $5 because of this longer one, then, hey, try to find a way to reword it, use the code words or whatever. But shout out to the Pattern Files. It's all good. Maybe weird timing. Chat said $5 after. No. It's just $2 and up, honestly. They're like, wait, hey, however you can get your word through. Some people go on Rumble, and Rumble ran in $1, and I'll read that as well.
Sir, I apologize for being tardy. We just had some updates as I was getting ready to do this.
It's, always, in your case, I always allow a few minutes because you're a busy man. Let's start with with somebody who won't be joining me, which is Kanye West, Ye as he likes to be called, who a few hours ago was banned from my country. I'm here in the UK at the moment. Banned from headlining the Wireless Festival on the grounds of, from the UK government's point of view, that his presence would not be conducive to the public good. And that follows a lot of furore about Kanye leading this. Now, the UK law allows for entry refusal if an individual's conduct, including expressing views that foster hatred or incite public disorder, is deemed a threat to society. What is your response to, because he's just done a big couple of shows in LA at the SoFi Stadium, made $33 million apparently, so no problem in the US with him performing. What's your view about what's happened in the UK?
Bro, like it or not, Kanye West is a rap legend. Like it or not. Like, till this day, even I still listen to Kanye West. So I'm sorry, but he is a rap legend through and through. And we're never going to stop listening to him as a community, no matter how much the Jewish community tends to hate him. I mean, I still love you guys, but I'm still listening to that Kanye West. I'm sorry.
Well, I would need to glean a little more information. Is this a private venue or event that wanted to hire him?
Yes.
Or was it some kind of, they should be able to, they should be allowed to, as we are stateside. And the issue, again, I always think it's important to reduce it to its choke point. Sure, it's easy for people to say, yeah, the song N-word, Hail Hitler, this guy probably isn't a good faith actor, whatever their opinion may be, but people can't do karaoke covers of Kung Fu fighting in the UK without being fined or jailed, right? You have thousands of people who, so like, it's kind of, we have this conversation a lot where people say, well, what about dreamers? Anchor babies in the United States. And I say, yeah, but Democrats don't want to deport violent felons who are here illegally in our prison system. So if we were able to find common ground on that, then we could have that conversation. But until the left moves our way, I'm just going to be critical because I don't like commies. If a private business wants to bring him in, they can do that if people will pay for the tickets.
But what if a government, in this case, the British government, wants to ban his entry because they deem what he said about Heil Hitler, about selling swastika merchandise and so on, deemed him to be not conducive to the public good. Should a government have the right to, I mean, obviously they have the right legally to do it. Should they be doing it?
I mean, Kanye literally had white supremacists buying his merch. That is, bro, legendary. I'm not even gonna lie. As a black man, he made merch for white supremacists and they were buying it, and black people too. Legendary. Now, the black people who bought it probably got it in the back of their closet, but still, he sold it out.
Yeah, of course the government has the right to do it. And I understand that you guys have a different standard than the United States. Freedom of speech this is really the only place where it's enshrined into our Constitution as an absolute. I know we share some views there and differ a little bit. The United States, we had this conversation stateside where they said you can't revoke, visas for students who are here, supporting Hamas,
right,
chanting from the river to the sea. Well, the truth is, in many countries, you're not allowed to show up to a government protest at all. For example, if you do that in Korea or Japan. The UK, though, has a different standard. It's speech that they don't like. It's not about speaking out against the government. It's not about being a part of a terror cell. And that just doesn't sit well with me. I guarantee if you go through a bunch of the punk, indie, lesbian, chain gang variety, you'll find people saying things comparably offensive. So is the standard applied equally? The answer is no, anywhere liberalism thrives. And yes, countries do have the right to determine who is allowed entry and who is not.
True.
The standard by which that is determined is my fundamental disagreement with all of Europe and Canada.
I just Googled how many music acts has America banned, and it's at least 16, most of which are British or Irish, or for all sorts of misdemeanors. But,
at least the Irish, we can agree on that one, hey?
I'm actually Irish, so we can't.
I thought you were Welsh.
And also, we know that there's a current campaign going on that if you've been overly critical of Donald Trump, for example, on your social media, you might get a visa rejected and so on. So is the America as strong on free speech now as you would like us to believe? Or actually is there a lot of commonality in the sense that our government doesn't like people who promote Hitler and the Nazis, and your government doesn't like people who attack the president or Hamas? And what's the difference?
Yeah, well, you'd have to provide me with some evidence that people are being denied entry simply for posting a mean tweet toward Donald Trump. I haven't seen that. If that's the case, I wouldn't support it. Is that the situation? Because I've not seen that.
From August 2025,
even a shout out to being a free speech absolutist. It's like, we don't kind of care. It's like you can say whatever you want. I mean, even if it hurts our feelings, I don't believe that you should go to jail over it. Or even if we're slightly offended, still don't believe you should go to jail for it. Even if it's against our president or our leader. Don't matter. Don't matter at all.
Administration began scrutinizing applicants for what it terms anti-American activity. This includes ideologies or views that despise the country or promote values hostile to its stability. I mean, it's a very wide-ranging thing. And apparently people had been rejected because they were being overly critical of Trump.
Right. So I would actually say that the idea of not allowing a hostile attitude toward the country is self-explanatory. I would argue that in the UK, you have an entire wave, a generation of migrants who are hostile to the traditional English way of life, and they shouldn't be allowed to get in. If we're talking about like Bob, I think was it
Bob Villan? Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, Bob Villan chanted death to the IDF or something like that.
Death
I mean, we can acknowledge that's a great. Now, I was president, I'd probably allow it because there's some artistic license. Not everyone means everything they say as an artist. Otherwise, just be embarrassing for share. But the standard by which it is judged. Okay, is this offensive speech or is this speech or is this an action with someone who has indicated they are fundamentally incompatible with this country and its way of life? That's the standard, as I understand it, by which the United States applies it.
My issue with Kanye West, I don't believe he's as mentally ill as he likes everyone to think. I think he's an attention-seeking narcissist who said all that stuff about Nazis and so on to get attention, to cause outrage, be provocative. And there was such a monumental backlash, he's now played the mental health card. Am I being unfair? Do you think there's merit to my position on that?
No, I think he can be both. That's what I think. I think he can be both. I think he's absolutely an attention-seeking narcissist, as many performers are. We all have narcissism in us. It's sort of the pop psychology term of the day. It just comes down to degree. And I think he might have some mental issues because he has said that he has, and I don't have any evidence to the contrary. But this just seems, again, like another overstep from the UK. Again, if we're going to correct the problem, like I can The reason I'm here is to talk about a free speech issue here in the United States on campus, and these schools are federally subsidized.
Yeah, I agree. But here's the problem. The UK, let's be real, they don't believe in free speech. I mean, the UK citizens, they believe in free speech, but the UK government, they don't want that. They don't want that at all. And it kind of proves I'm gonna be real with you, the tyrannical nature of the UK government. The fact that they don't want you to be able to say what you want. They don't want you to be able to criticize whoever you want. Or they'd allowed it. And this kind of shows you by them banning Kanye West that they don't want anybody who speaks against what that government believes. Because let me be real with you, the government of the UK is highly pro-Israel. I mean, let's just keep it real here. And also Israel has influence in the UK government as well. I mean, look at the media space in there.
Offensive speech is not the standard. Here, it has never been the standard. Someone saying, I hate America, death to America, or...
Oh, guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate support, by the way. But let's just make sure we're double tapping that screen, and let's see if we can get us to that 500 likes. All right, let's keep it going.
Going in perpetuity that they're incompatible with a country to which they want to be welcome. We shouldn't welcome them. That's different from someone saying something that's offensive. For example, someone in the UK being fined or jailed for saying Islam, the political prescription of Islam, is incompatible with a Western way of life. But people have been fined. People have been charged in the UK with that. We need to find where we agree and where we differ. We have this conversation a lot with abortion. And I'll get people on the right who get upset because I'll concede a point just to get to the truth of the matter, where people will always come up when we do a change my mind and say, well, what about rape and what about incest? I'll say, okay, let's allow that. Let's just grant that completely for the sake of argument. Would you then do away with all late-term abortions on the other side? And they say no. I go, well, then let's not act like that's where this disagreement is taking place. That's not where the disagreement is taking place on freedom of speech.
It's a really interesting debate. But talking of offensive speech, were you comfortable with President Trump on Easter Sunday saying there'll be nothing like it? Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch Praise Be to Allah. And then talking about wiping out an entire civilization in relation to what he might do to Iran. Are you comfortable with that kind of language from the President of the United States, from the guy sitting in the Oval Office publicly?
Well, which part of it? Which part of it? If we're talking naughty words, I don't care. I didn't elect Donald Trump because I thought he was a pastor. I didn't vote for him because I think even necessarily that he's a devout Christian. I thought it was trolling. I actually laughed pretty hard at the praise be to Allah. I do think it was ill-advised to say whole civilization. Yeah. And the reason why is because you see a lot of people, and this is again about applying it equally. Donald Trump has done a pretty good job, and certainly Marco Rubio, in delineating between the Iranian people and the regime. I think we probably agree there are very few governments, if any, that are in more diametric opposition to the people they govern than the IRGC and the Iranian people. I mean, we don't get very...
Yeah, like I said, Bill, we don't know that for sure. Like, we all operate off this. A lot of people operate off the logic as if the IRGC or the Ayatollah only got 20% support in Iran. That's not true. If anything, it's probably 55 to 45% support. So it's a little bit closer than people think. I mean, if that was the case, then the protest that we funded with CIA and Mossad, yes, the CIA and Mossad in January pretty much gave guns to those protesters in Iran, and it failed. It didn't work. We didn't get that revolution we was pushing for. So what does that go to show? One, that, I mean, there might not be that much people against the Ayatollah as we hoped for. And two, we're going off of a study that only polled 500,000 Iranians when we got 30 million of them who voted in their election in 2024 and 61 million who registered for that same election. So which numbers would you go off of if you wanted to sit there and invade Iran? 500,000 people that voted, or 30 million people who actually voted in their elections controlled by the Ayatollah?
Very accurate polling out of there, as you tend to not get out of the Islamic world. The overwhelming majority of the Iranian people support the help, support the military intervention. Doesn't mean that it's our job, to be clear.
No, they don't. That's also a lie. Like I said, this is how they sell the war to you. They try to say, oh, they support, the Iranian people support this. Okay, if they did, then why are they forming human shields in protest of Donald Trump's message about total civilizational destruction around the power plants? And I mean, they're having a whole party. I mean, there's hot dog stands and all this crazy stuff. all right, if there was against their government, why is there people yelling Allah Akbar in the streets, hundreds and thousands of them, while there's bombs going off in the back? So don't act like there is rarely any support for the government. If there was no support for this government, they wouldn't even be in power. That's what you guys got to understand. Like what he's saying about the support for the Ayatollah in Iran, it doesn't match up to reality.
Conversation.
Like I said, 61 million people voted in an election that the Ayatollah controls. Choose all presidential candidates, all 5 of them. What does that tell you?
Have stateside domestically, but separating between the regime and the people is important. Donald Trump has done that consistently. He didn't do that with his phrase here. I definitely think that did him no favors. On the flip side, when I see people saying World War III, and I see people saying he's killing innocent civilians, we're bombing brown people, we're killing Iranians, I go, well, hold on a second. You guys never delineate between the IRGC and the Iranian people. I also think that it's undergirded by the fact that if remarkably inconsistent and ill-advised, he did say, God bless the Iranian people in that same post, which would seem to clarify and be consistent with what he just said 12 hours earlier. Right? People were offended. Keep in mind, 12 hours earlier, they said, do you think this is a war crime? And I think it's no, because they're animals and they killed 40. The number always goes up. Maybe 60, maybe 120,000 of their old people. Wow, they're animals. People said, I can't believe he would say that. But he did say, no, targeting military sites, targeting strategic infrastructure to do away with a totalitarian. And
see, this is where your argument fell apart, Crowder, because remember when you said power plant day and bridge day, and power plants are mainly used by the civilians. So if you take that out, that's going to be a war crime because you're going to put millions of civilians in the dark. Hospitals will go without electricity. People will die as a consequence of that. When you said bridges, I mean, that could also be a war crime too if mainly civilians use that bridge, mainly. I mean, that's a problem just blowing up bridges willy-nilly. But I mean, who cares about war crimes in MAGA, apparently? And apparently, look, if nobody, holds us accountable, then it ain't a war crime. And I mean, that's a very scary mindset or a very scary way of thinking, honestly.
Argue evil, satanic regime, the IRGC, is not a war crime because the people want it and support it.
But
doesn't say that it's legitimate.
Whoa! Yo, you're going off the false pretext that, oh, well, it's not a war crime because the Iranian people want it. So you're telling me millions of Iranian people want to be left in the dark, want to not have no way outside of Tehran, have no way to transport their goods outside of Tehran, no way to go to work outside of Tehran, by blowing up all their bridges. They're okay with that. That's why it's not a war crime. Are you fucking dumb? Damn it, Crowder. Damn it, Crowder. I know you're not dumb, but god damn it, bro, you drunk the Kool-Aid. All right, let's make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's make sure we get those likes up. Appreciate the support, by the way. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up.
Trump, obviously the campaigner in 2024, was absolutely emphatic. I will not drag America into any more senseless wars, particularly in the Middle East. And here he is dragging America into the biggest Middle Eastern war he could possibly drag them into. Tucker Carlson has been blistering in his attack on it. Megyn Kelly has been blistering. You've got all these people on the right, Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a real split on the conservative right in America. And it's really bubbled up and boiled over with the Iran war. Why do you think that is? Why? I mean, if you go back 20, 30 years, there would have been complete unanimity about a Republican strike of this nature. There would have been no split. But there's a real split here ideologically between what people believe they thought they were voting for and what they think they're getting from Trump.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's as big of a split with the voter as there are commentators. For example, my perspective has been I supported the strike on the enrichment facility. And I said, give this 3 months. And then I'll have to reassess it because I know there's information that I cannot have on Iran.
Yeah, well, here's the thing that you was wrong on that one, though. You said they struck the facility. They said the problem was over with. You called us all panicans. And then now we're going basically into a full-fledged war with Iran because of this same thing that you told us we were being panicans about, that we've been destroyed, so-called obliterated. So, yeah, you were kind of wrong on that one.
It pertains to national security. I would say that would be due largely to their own ignorance, because anyone who thinks that Donald Trump has been anything other than consistent, going back to the 1980s, which is kind of a marvel, The only reason we're able to have this long of a consistent track record for any president is because he was a celebrity. He's always said Iran cannot have a nuke. They will never have a nuke. That was what he said that day of that famous escalator ride. It was part and parcel of that speech. So anyone who's...
And guess what? Or basically Iran was already doing that for them with the religious fatwa that the old supreme leader put on, which said it's a sin to make a nuke, and they wasn't making one. So I'm sorry, but if that was the case, then Obama solved that for Trump, and Trump pretty much just reignited the problem.
Thinks that Donald Trump being tough on Iran is a betrayal is simply uneducated and didn't listen to him. And you could also argue.
And here's the thing. Some people think I'm playing. Some people actually think I'm a leftist, which I'm not, by the way. I'm actually a conservative, but well, center leaning conservative. Now, the problem is with this is that, bro, if Hillary Clinton says it, it's still wrong. If Donald Trump says it, it's still wrong. If Obama was to commit to this war, he would still be in the wrong. I'm not playing favorites here. Either way, no matter who does it, this war is a bad idea. This is why past presidents didn't do it. So we're not sitting here picking and choosing, oh, it's because it's not my president, I'm upset. No, the problem is other presidents didn't do it because they seen how bad of an idea this was.
I think there are two reasonable sides on this issue. I don't think war criminal. I don't think genocide is one of them. You could argue that he's ending a 47-year war, and it's right in line with his promises. When I hear people say, why would we strike Iran? They've never done anything to us. You hear that a lot. Many Americans, hundreds, if not over 1,000, depending on the numbers, and they've pledged to kill many more. It comes down to that discussion and when you want to deal with this issue. Anyone can say, I'm against this. I don't like it, of course, and I think there's a reasonable position to hold. To say Donald Trump has gone back on his word when his only statements on Iran.
See, and here's the problem, though, with this whole, Iran's just been this villain the entire time. Guys, you know this whole bullshit started on Operation Ajax? Yes. So, and if you don't know about Operation Ajax, then I'm sorry, but you need to go ahead and get informed. This is pretty damn important on why they yell death to America, which a lot of you cry about a lot. So since you cry about this a lot, you better pay attention. But all right, Operation Ajax was a 1953 covert operation by the CIA and British intelligence, MI16, that overthrew Iran's democratically, I'm gonna say that again, democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, motivated by Iran's nationalization of its oil industry. The coup restored absolute power to the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, securing Western oil interests, but fueling long-term anti-American sentiment that led to the 1979 Iranian Revolution. So for you guys that cry about them saying that, do you know why they say it? Because we did this. And then we tried to put the Shah back in again after they just overthrown the man because he was corrupt and selling out the Iranian people to buy American weapons. But y'all don't know that, do y'all? Because, bro, imagine if that was somebody did that to us in America. It would be death to that country, too. But, all right. Now that y'all understand a little bit. Oh, man, let's not even get into the Iran-Iraq war. Oh, God. How we pretty much funded Saddam, pretty much gave him the green light to go invade Iran for us. And then we helped them get chemical missiles to gas Iranians. Over about 500,000 of them died from it. You don't think they remember that as well? A lot of you just don't know history enough to be actually hating Iran this much. I'm just going to be real with you. You don't know history enough to hate Iran this much. But let's make sure we're double tapping that screen and liking the video, guys. Appreciate the support. All right.
Have been criticisms of the JCPOA, of Barack Obama, of the previous administrations, saying he will guarantee that they cannot have a nuke. And by the way, advocating for military intervention on air several times. If someone voted for him and says, I didn't know that, that's kind of on them. And then I would say, let's bring the conversation back to where there's a reasonable disagreement. Doesn't it just seem to like, this is the kind of thing that would be a geopolitical disagreement that you would hear about in debates. Now you have people saying invoke the 25th for him doing exactly what he said he would.
One of the people saying that is an old friend of mine, I joke, who actually tried to get me deported from the United States, Alex Jones. He's actually been on your show, and he said this.
How do we 25th Amendment his ass? The problem is to get the 25th Amendment's harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and pretend, let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
I've known you a long time. You've never called for a internal coup before.
Ever. But that's how dangerous this is.
I mean, when Alex Jones is suggesting you're nuts, that's a bad day, isn't it?
Well, like you said, it's Alex Jones suggesting you're nuts. Is that a bad day? I couldn't disagree with him more on that. And here's the thing. All right. Those 25th his ass. And the alternative? When I hear people say there's no difference, the border has been secured to the tune of anywhere from 96 to 99%, depending on the metrics that you want to use. Many Americans were single issue voters, and that was a single issue. The other was the economy. Most Americans were two issue voters. So to be clear, they're not the same. And if people are, it does come down to a binary decision. Okay, J.D. Vance, very flawed. Get it. Everyone is. No one gets the perfect candidate they want. Let's say it's Rubio, flawed. Or your choice is Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. And I can already hear what people are saying, you're just trying to put us in the binary, man. Or we could do a parliamentary system, which is an unbelievable.
Look, I get that argument because let's be real. Kamala was preaching war with not Iran, but Russia, a whole nuclear power. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they wanted to commit to. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't vote for the Dems, because they were low-key pro-war when it came to Russia. Now, Trump, he ran on the anti-war, and this is where, like, Steve, Crowder, you got to hold yourself a little bit more accountable. He ran on anti-war. He's not giving us that. So please spare us with the whole, but, well, would you just have voted for Kamala? No, but I voted for a person who said they were going to do one thing and now is doing another. And now you're trying to say, well, you wish you voted for Kamala? No, I wish I voted for somebody who's actually going to do what the fuck they said that they were going to do. Like, that's what we're saying. It's kind of wild how y'all throw it back to Kamala. It's like the but Biden. Bro, when it comes to inflation going up, you want to talk about but Biden, but the whole reason we voted for Trump was to lower inflation.
Failure. Sorry, no offense to you, but I was raised in Canada, and I think it's silly that you can have someone elected with 30-something% of the vote, in some cases less. People need to be really careful about what they're looking for, because the decisions, the choices they're making now do affect that outcome. And there will be a return of woke. You will have biological men in women's sports. You'll have biological men in women's locker rooms. You will have deplatforming, and you will have socialism light.
And you see what they're selling. And this is all the Republican Party could do at this point, and sell us fear. Well, if you don't vote for us, the warmongers who portray American people for Israel, you're going to get men and women's sports. They're going to try to trans your kids. They're going to open the border. It's like, so basically you're saying, you're just fear mongering us. You're basically saying, vote for us who betray the American people in front of your goddamn face, or vote for the people that trans your kids and have open borders. I'm sorry, but at that point, maybe we do need a revolution. Maybe the whole government do need to be gutted out at that point, because y'all tripping if that you're saying that's our option. You're tripping.
Case scenario, if no alternative is presented, because what I hear from these people is not working within and correcting the system, which does have a self-correcting mechanism. You know, we have primaries, we have the ability to generate actual feedback. I would say Donald Trump is usually pretty intent to listen compared to a lot of previous presidents. That's one of the downsides. He's very accessible on social media, or the alternative. But I don't for a second believe that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are no different. I don't believe for a second that whether it's Rubio, Vance, or Gavin Newsom, whoever's in the polls right now, the Kalshi sheets, I don't believe that they're even remotely similar. And I would vote for Donald Trump again, and I hope that these people would say the same. But I don't know that they would.
You know,
I mean, I heard Tucker.
You know, constant war will destroy this country as well. For some of you guys say, yeah, but the Dems will destroy this country. Yeah, but so will constant war. So will constant Western interference. I mean, the reason why we're so much in debt is because we spent $8 trillion on war. Y'all forgot that, right? I mean, let's be real. When it comes to the war bill, it doesn't mean anything to what we spent on closing the border. It doesn't mean it pales in comparison to what we spend on stopping Dems to trans kids. Like, it's the wars that's mainly fucking us up. But they're gonna try to trans my kids. Oh, the border. It's like, here's the thing. there's sensible Dems that we can lean more towards. I mean, honestly, I ain't voting Democrat. I ain't doing that. But for those of you who feel like you want to, I'm saying, look, if you are, at least go for the sensible Dems that believe in closing the effing border. At least do that. And on the Republicans, look, we got some guys that are coming up now that are trying to speak more on America first instead of just simping out for Israel and Trump.
Carlson, for example, and this is just a criticism of the actual point, he said, to mock someone's religion is to mock, or to mock someone's faith, I don't want to misquote him, is to mock faith itself. That's goofy, silly, dum-dum talk, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. The actual point, he said, to mock someone's religion is to mock, or to mock someone's faith, I don't want to misquote him, is to mock faith itself. That's goofy, silly, dum-dum talk.
Actually, it is. If you mock someone's faith, then yeah, that is mocking faith itself, because I mean, you're mocking their God that they have faith in, which basically means that what? You think it's funny? You think it's stupid to worship a God? Oh, my bad. My bad. You know, I forgot. He's a hypocrite, because let that be done to Christianity and you're going to lose your shit. You're going to say, yo, you're basically mocking faith. I'm sorry, but you are, especially if you're mocking Islam, because you're basically mocking the Christianity faith as well, because they believe in all of our prophets. They believe in Jesus coming back as well. So, bro, what are you saying? And I mean, you don't want to sit there and admit it, because I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of these MAGA guys are turned into Christian supremacists. They'll do one thing to another religion that they never want done to their own. They're hypocrites outright.
And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
The mention of Gavin Newsom, according to Polymarket, Newsom is the red hot favorite to be Democratic nominee.
Oh, guys, make sure you double tap that screen and like the video. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up, or you can set it on Venmo or Rumble. All right, let's get right back to it. 2028
at 24%. However, there's an Instagram post from his wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, at the weekend that is raising, well, concerns, perhaps, but maybe some glee. Tommy Lahren posted, I love this woman. She may single-handedly put Vance or Rubio in the White House in 2028. Let's take a look at the Instagram clip.
Trust me, I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi nor Kristi Noem. But I need to call out that it's no surprise to me that the first two prominent people pushed out of this administration were women. Let me explain.
Bro, they was calling us the bimbo woman. They was calling us the bimbo administration. Kristi Noem was out there cheating on her husband, recklessly spending millions of dollars on ads, and now it came out that her husband liked to put on fake tits. Like, what are you talking about? She had to go. Pam Bondi completely effed up with the Epstein files, effed up with the Comey case, effed up with the Letitia James case. I'm sorry, but be real with you. The Trump administration done made female leadership look terrible. Terrible.
The conservative women.
Be real with you. This is going to be one of the reasons why we never have a female president.
And that Trump handpicks, who align themselves with an agenda that controls women, restricting our rights, limiting our autonomy, and pushing us back into this straitjacket of femininity that is only in service of men. There's a familiar...
Sweetheart, y'all doing it to yourselves by effing up in y'all positions. What are you talking about? Pam Bondi effed up as AG. Kristi Noem effed up as DHS. I'm sorry. But don't sit there and try to play this victim as everybody's being sexist now. No, you guys weren't performing. The best performers in Trump cabinet are all men. All the women are fucking up. And this is why a female will never be president. This is why I do not support female leadership in government. I'm sorry, but if that makes me sexist, then it is what it is, because you keep giving me, well, the proof over and over again.
Pattern here.
It don't matter which side. It either be Democrat or conservative. Women are just good. Women are not good at leadership. I'm sorry. Sue me. It is what it is. I said it.
Women are brought in, packaged Mar-a-Lago style, and lifted up as long as
not all, but 80%.
Commit to wholeheartedly serve the interests of the patriarch at the top. Now, it looks like power or proximity to power with a big title, but it never comes with job security and protection. There's no secure place inside this hand-picked patriarchal body that systemically disrespects...
The women that were on there were hand-picked. Like, what are you talking about? We gave y'all a shot. And then when y'all get fired for effing up, now it's the guy's fault. You see why guys don't like doing nothing nice for y'all no more? Because even when we do it and it don't work out your way, it's our fault. That's not cool. Come on now. We gave y'all a shot. They effed it up. Just start holding them accountable. Actually, we would trust more in female leadership if y'all held each other accountable for poor leadership. then we'd be like, all right, cool. Maybe we need to put the one in that's actually holding their own accountable instead of just sitting there running cover for them for a bad performance. Like, I'm sorry. I know they were women, but they weren't performing well.
Devalues and discriminates against women and girls.
Now, in the wake of that post, social media has been flooded with some of her previous pearls of wisdom, including saying every problem we have in society will be fixed when women come together, and we need to fight against the rabbit hole of dangerous and limited narratives around what it means to be a girl and boy. And she's also said her husband is working hard to institutionalize their values before leaving office. I mean, is she turning out to be potentially the secret nightmare for the Democrats, do you think?
Yeah, well, what do you mean? A conservative woman taking on more of a feminist tone? I mean, let's be real. All these conservative women who are like political pundits are all feminists. Like, all of them are mainly feminine. I would even say Candace Owens is a bit of a feminist as well. Like, all of them care about their career more than most of them care about their dating life. A lot of these girls aren't married and they just sleep around. And I'm talking about conservative women, by the way. Like, some of them live just as reckless as liberal women do. So this is what I mean by, let's be real. This is not really good when it comes to the leadership qualities. They don't lead by example, but hey, man, they talk a great game.
She should be, but she's not, because that's something that the Democrats embrace. I mean, you're talking about a party where the former vice president, Joe Biden, said that he thought it was an act of evil for parents to not affirm their child's transition. So shouting some bullshit talking points, forgive me, about patriarchy really isn't gonna hackle anybody's feathers. I will say this. She makes a good case for her household voting, 1 vote per household. And when she says rights, what rights are being trampled on? When people talk about the patriarchy, can they explain to me what they mean by patriarchy? When they talk about the straitjacket of femininity, I'm sure I don't know what term you use, grandma, or do you use, what's the term that you guys use in the UK, generally speaking?
Grandma, yeah.
Okay, grandma. Most of the time when you look at a woman who you really admired and you say, they don't make them like that anymore, incredibly feminine and ironically was a matriarch, wasn't she?
Yes.
But no one said she has job stability. They said she made the house a home, hearth and home. Everyone wanted to be at grandma's house because everyone felt safe and everyone felt nurtured. And that is something that has been shunned by feminism, by the way, at their own peril. If you want to look for the root evils that plague most of modern society, look at feminism in the 1960s. And I'm not talking about wanting to put on a 2-piece and go out to the beach. I'm talking about this idea that men and women are fundamentally interchangeable and that somehow we need to do away with masculinity. And you want to know how you know it's not true? Bear Grylls has that show, The Island. Go watch the season where the women there's an all women's
and
team.
that was the best Kevin Samuels like argument ever. It's like, bro, we just operate differently. Go look at that. What was it? It was when they put a group of men in the wild versus a group of only women in the wild. And the men, these guys literally started building civilization on that island. These women, bro, they're going through it. Like, bro, they're cold. They can't get no shelter. They can't hunt nothing. They don't got anything going on. And these women are highly educated. Same thing with the men as well. They were highly educated men left alone on an island versus highly educated women left alone on the island. The men prospered, the women deteriorated to the point where the guys had to come in there and save some of the women because they were on the verge of getting extremely ill. Like, bro.
An all men's team. And it reflects statistics that we see that men have longer, more long-lasting, meaningful relationships. They have greater sense of loyalty, ties, duty. They're more willing to die for their friends. Women are jealous. Feminists are jealous because they claim to be these great emotional communicators, even though they don't want traditional relationships, but they want the guy to pay for the dinner bill. They don't want to go Dutch. Men say what they mean, and men are better at friending. That's the great irony in all.
That's why females want guy friends, because they barely like being friends with each other. Am I lying? Of course not. But all right, guys, let's make sure we're double tapping that screen and liking the video. Let's get those likes up. Let's get more people in on the conversation. Appreciate the support, guys. We're cooking.
Of this. Women tend to, because men are violent, right? We'll deal with our fists often, not all the time, but there's a certain line that you don't cross that holds us accountable, that keeps us in behavioral order. Women don't have that. So there's often gossip. There's often backstabbing. And you know the thing, too, they talk about how all these problems that plague society, as though having women in charge has never happened. Now, there's an exception. Thatcher, by the way, hopefully she's a national hero to you guys. Very strong woman. As a general rule, historically, women have had a shot running societies. Do you know why it stopped? Unfettered cruelty.
Yeah.
Unfettered cruelty. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this is going way too far. The site,
Like, bro, some of the most cruelest rulers were women. Like some of the most outrageous ones. Like there was literally a woman overthrown because she was just killing people left and right. So that's a problem with some women, believe it or not, is unusually cruel.
idea that somehow women will be peaceful, that women will all get along and they'll be able to hash it out communicatively, flies in direct opposition.
Well, also,
I'll be real with you. If the world was only women, bro, they'd have got into World War III, a whole nuclear fight like 10 years ago.
Some of the most bloodthirsty, ruthless mass murderers in leadership history in the world were women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the other part of this. And I've done
that's
series.
Not exclusive to either sex.
I've done crime series of literally called Killer Women, where they've done despicable things. So this idea they're immune from some of the traits that they love to throw at men, I think is a little far-fetched. On this issue, this ever-burning issue of the trans women competing in women's sport, for example, recently the International Olympic Committee said that they were going to ban trans women from competing in women's sport, which of course is obvious because the Olympics are split on sex-based rules. We have male, female, because otherwise the females would not win more than about one medal, I think I read. But no, Megan Rapinoe, who was, of course, the star of the US women's soccer team, football team, she has come out and says this is outrageous. And this is why she said it's outrageous.
This committee is framing it as based in science, which it's not. And this will ultimately just prevent people from competing within the women's category that they feel like have an unfair advantage. It's just really hateful. It's like there's been so few athletes that are trans or competing as trans, and it's like so blatant on its face. It's just a total acquiescence to the Trump administration and to really right-wing conservative politics.